Hi y'all, it's me. I'm back with more money saving tips and ideas for 2012. I want to reiterate that a lot of the things that I show some of you may have seen, may be new to you, may be old to you, I don't know. There's so many different level of crafters out there. I just wanted to be sure to bring everything I have in my arsenal forward so I can share it all with everyone. And a lot of the ideas have been out there. I'm not claiming them as my own unless they really are my own that I know of. So I just wanted to make that point. And also, if you have any questions that are about something in my video, read the comments on the top because usually I respond and the answer is there, and a lot of people ask me the same question. So if you read those first before you ask, maybe your answer will be there. And if not, just shoot, just ask and I'll answer you. One of the questions I got a lot of last week was about the double-sided adhesive I use that's wide. You can get that at the scorepal.com address. They have a lot of different widths there, and I'm sure there's plenty of other places, but that's one that I know of you can go to. So anyway, let me get started. I'm going to start with tip number 30 today. I don't know how many are in this video until I'm done because I have too many things sitting here, but I'll figure it out as I go along. So let me start with number 30. Last week I was showing you how you could take your double-sided adhesive and apply fabric to it to make fabric tape. The other thing I was thinking about after that was that it could also be used differently. If you take your double-sided adhesive and spread it across chipboard, just spread it all the way across as wide as you need to. Then you apply fabric to it, just like you would do for the strip, only this time you're using the chipboard. You just make it bigger, and then you can use it in your Big Shot, your die cutting machines, maybe like Vagabond, the Sizzix Big Shot, maybe in a Cuttlebug. I don't have one, so I don't know, but you can use it to cut out shapes, and look at how stinking cute they are in fabric. They're beautiful, and I love the texture, and I love the versatility of being able to use fabric, because I do have a lot of fabric scraps around, and it's just gorgeous. So these both were done with fabric, and you want to be sure to apply the fabric to the chipboard first before you cut it. It just makes it so much easier, and as you can see, it cuts very clean. And I think you want to use like a cotton fabric because cotton seems to do the best. Also, I wanted to point out while I'm showing you these, if you have this particular die, it's a Sizzix die. I'll show it to you in just a little bit. I noticed yesterday that you could use the bottom part right there like I did for a cake stand. If you cut it the way I did, I used scallop scissors to cut it. It would be a cute little cake stand. So that's a bonus tip. So anyway, use it to cut out your fabric. It's awesome. Then the next idea I wanted to share was that we get a lot of packaging like this clear stuff, with a lot of our products that we buy. This happens to be from a Cricut cartridge, and I save all of them because I know I'm going to use them for something. So I want to show some of you what you can use it for. Actually, you can use it to cut out, you can use it for pockets in your mini books and whatnot if you want to make a clear pocket. And I have one of those in my springtime mini that I did. It's a clear pocket, so you could use it for that. You can use it to cut out shapes, and see there, I cut out a shape of a leaf with one of my dies, and that's what I'm talking to you about today, is how to use your cutting machines in different ways. So that's one thing you could do, is cut out this, and then you also have the piece that it came out of. So then you can use those for masks for your sprays and whatnot. You just lay them down and mist over them on your projects. So that's one way to use up some of those pieces of acetate or whatever that you have. Instead of using a brand new sheet of acetate, may as well use what you have. So that would be tip number 31. And then tip number 32 would be this. And I don't know, but if you have a stamp, like I have this stamp, and let's say I wanted to use this stamp on a project, but I wanted to do something else with it, let me show you what you can do. First of all, you stamp it out onto chipboard right there, and then you're going to go ahead and cut those shapes out. So I've gone ahead and done that. And then next you're going to cut a piece of chipboard. Now you want this chipboard to be cut the size of a card or a size of an embossing folder, because that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be cutting these shapes out and making an embossing folder. And you can make, oh my gosh, it's limitless what you can make. But here you can see I just cut out a bunch of the flowers and I scattered them around and glued them down. And the thickness of this piece that you're layering will determine how deep of an emboss you have. So if you need to double up on them, you can do that as well, or use thicker cardboard, but the thicker chipboard is harder to cut. So I'm just going to show you something fast I threw together. Believe me, I'm not a card maker, so I just wanted to give you an idea of how this looks if you use them together. So here you can see I've created this card, and I actually stamped out one of the flowers, but then in the background, let's see if I can pick that up. You can see there I used the embossing folder. And look how cute that is. I mean, you have an identical matching set. So that's one way to get your stamps onto embossing folder. I'm going to show you another one that I did, just so you can get the concept of it as well. And this one was done with the onesie stamp. And this was the embossing folder that I made from the onesie stamp. And then this is just a fast little card just to show you how you can put them together. So as you can see, I embossed this here, and then I took a sanding block and I just ran over the paper with the sanding block to kind of bring those out, and then put the little stamp up here. So that would be the next tip. Well, that actually is the same tip. That's stamping on the chipboard to make embossing folders. The next thing is you can also take, and let me get those out for you. You can take your dies, which I did. I took my Sizzix dies, and I went ahead and I also made embossing folders from those. So you can also cut those things out and adhere them. And here's what the result of that one is. Now I did all of these on white just so I could show it better on camera. But you can see, look at how cool that is. You have your own embossing folder. And then I also did it with this leaf right here. And I went ahead and spread that leaf all around, as you can see there. And now I have my own leaf embossed background. And you can use it on one side or the other if you want it debossed or embossed. Depends on how you want to use it. But isn't that so amazing that you can make your own? Okay, so that's with the Sizzix dies. Then I took it into another realm and I said, well, heck, let me try it with my punches. So I brought out my punches, a couple of them, and let me show you what I did with those. On this one, I used the butterfly, and I just actually punched that butterfly out of cardstock, just plain cardstock, but I punched it 3 times because these punches don't go through chipboard. I don't know, even thin chipboard, I have a hard time with mine. So I just made 3 of these and stacked them together, glued them together, then glued them on here. And then when you emboss it, that's what it looks like. Isn't that cool? So, I mean, it's just limitless. Now for the banner one, here's the die that the embossing plate I made. And there's the banner shown on paper. Isn't that just darling? Oh my gosh, I love this. I was having so much fun with this yesterday. I would like to state that if you're going to be using a lot of embossing plates for your these homemade ones especially, you want to invest in one of these. This happens to be a silicone, like a rubber mat that you place on top of your paper, on top of the embossing folder. It helps to give a nice impression. And like I said, it's made out of silicone, so I think you can even find I don't know, something at the dollar store made out of silicone that's perhaps this thin. I tried it with fun foam. It works, but the fun foam really gets smushed. It doesn't bounce back. So anyhow, but I would invest in something like that if you were going to do this. And then, okay, so I took it one more step. Sorry. I went on one more step and I thought, well, I want to try with my cartridge, my Cricut cartridge. And what's the good thing about using your Cricut cartridge is that you can set, well, if you have the expression, you can set it to fill the page, and then your image is repeatedly cut out so that you don't have to sit there and cut them out like you did with the stamped images or whatever. So this was the one that I did from this die. And you could see here, actually what I had to do is I had to cut out 2 layers of cardstock in order to achieve this. I could have done it with the chipboard, but I figured, you know, the paper is less hard on my blade, and since the machine did all the work, all I had to do is glue them together. So that's the one I did, and that's the impression I got. Isn't that awesome? So even with your Cricut, you can get the same results. And then I thought, ooh, let me try it one more thing. What about if you needed something that was monogrammed? Imagine being able to create your own monogram something or other. And I did. And there you go. It's right there. Isn't that crazy good? And then I did it on white so you could see it a little better. Oh my gosh, it's endless. It's endless, I tell you. So, okay, so those are all those kind of tips about embossing folders that I wanted to talk to you about. And the very last other idea that I have that isn't my own, and I know a lot of you know this one, is that you can also take your embossing folder, I mean, not your embossing folder, your die cut machines, and cut out a shape. And I cut this bird cage out of fun foam, which is that rubber foam mat stuff that you get at Michael's and stuff, or the dollar store. I cut this out. I actually cut it out twice because it wasn't thick enough, and I glued them together. And then I inked it up and I used it as a stamp. So you can use all of your dies as stamps just by doing that technique. And when it gets old, just throw it out. It's no biggie. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed these tips. I don't know how many numbers there are. I'll go back and count and number them when I do the video upload. So thanks for watching. I hope I've inspired you to create something with your die cutting systems, and let me know if you do anything. I'd love to see what you do. Have a good week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.